We're here to celebrate the switch on of the Horncastle Tree of Light for Christmas 2021. Indeed, remarkably, we're now in our 12th year, which is quite a special achievement in its own right, I think. And I'm delighted to be joined by quite a number of the members of the Lions Club of Horncastle, who've done much of the practical work for the Tree of Light. And we're also joined by the Mayor, Fiona Martin, who's shortly going to activate our truly splendid tree lights. Pleased too to be joined by quite a number of donors and friends. Because of COVID, we haven't actively promoted attendance this year, but it's good to have you here. But as last year, we're recording this little ceremony and we'll post it online in due course. Now, on behalf of the organising team, can I say a big thank you to all the people and organisations of Horncastle and the surrounding villages who make the Tree of Light possible. With well over 300 names on the tribute list, I want in particular to thank the many donors who've supported us. And their generosity means that we're able to give substantial funds to the hard-pressed hospices that serve our local area. Now, we're about to read out the tribute names in the customary way. So without more ado, I'm going to ask the Mayor, Fiona Martin, to wave her arm graciously to switch on the lights for 2021.
So these are the names of the people that we particularly remember this evening. Dorothy Scott, Tony Scott, Iris Cross, Gladys Newstead, Bruce Duckworth, Roger McNamara, Olga Mann, Nana Lewin, Guy Stockton, Peggy Willis, Bernard Willis, David MacDonald, Jill Wheeler, Dorothy Tucker, Philip and Cissy Church, Jimmy and Ruby Walker, Claire Forward, Christopher George Spencer, Eileen Marr, James Arthur Vickers, Eric Redshaw, June Murray Smith, Ben Smith, Elaine Chantry, Mo and Shirley Wilkinson, Lillian and Wilfred Yates, Olive and Ken Peacock, Harold Mac Maskell, Audrey Maskell, Robin Martin, Lindsay Marie Burgess, Harry and Edna Ely, Peter Rowland, Neville Stewart, Jenny Stewart, Gladys Irene Tremere, John Franklin Shaw,
Michael William Hubbard, Jackie Melton, Angela Andy Kisby, Timothy William Stebbings, Hazel Patricia Joyner, Christine Ann Lenton, Grace Georgina Rowson, Derek Arthur Rowson, Bill Fielder, Ted and Vera Hudson, Ed Hall, Barry West, Keith Wheatley, Joan Wheatley, Roy Barker, Frank Cross and Francis Belton, Sheila Stanton, Stanley Bowles, Joyce Barlow, Tony Mowbray, Mavis Mowbray, Robert Blackburn, David W. Keeling, Doris E. Keeling, Pam Jacklin, Carl Jacklin, John Sadler, Mary Leggett, Carol Lovely, Faye Stanley, Brian Booth,
John Bennett, Shirley Wood, Eric Gordon Whittaker, Barry Waite, Alan Saunders, Fred Walters, Lizzie Walters, Gordon Newsham, Elaine Chantry, Carol Smith, Willie Marr, Nita Longden, Steve Diamond, Ken Spencer, Karen Freeman, Thomas McLaughlin, Edith McLaughlin, Leonard Perkins, Vera Perkins, Stanley Burnett, Doris Evelyn Burnett, Roy Burnett, Archie Edward Burnett, Ron Clark, Peggy Brammer, Peter James Oliver, Bettine Nicholson, Margaret Coggan, Pauline Ann Halford, Gordon J, Ron Paul, Marguerite Paul, Barbara Guthrie, Bill Clift, Bruce Bell, and Rotarian Angus Carmichael.
Sylvia Morby, Colin Senior, Jean Gibbons, Barbara Morris, Gladys May Firth, John Firth, Edna Firth, Margaret Rose Johnson, Michael Toyne, John Toyne, Albert Humphrey, Cicely Humphrey, Cynthia Richardson, Graham Richardson, Carol Richardson, Leslie Lawrence Toynton, Ron Brooks, Joan Brooks, Doreen Brooks, Bert Scott, Terry Kelly, Job Bruce Gardine, Ian Neil Clark, George Goddard, Barry Bushell, Edna Barber, Joe Fish Hollier, Michael Wallace, Jim Jones, Jim Portas, Ivy Portas, David Portas, Dorothy Cooper, Dennis Cooper, Edward Bell, Derek Oates, Wendy Oates, and Ian Oates.
Fred Walker, Ivy Walker, Mr. and Mrs. R.A.P. Barker, David Courtman, Lucy Danby, Ruby Caton, Tom Caton, Ada Close, Leah Close, Les Close, John Lee, Thorold Frederick Chadwick, Mick Hodson, Maisie Elvin, Roy Elvin, Rita Longden, Terry Day, Sheila Moore, Roy Ashley, Edna Mary Gowing, Roy Parsons, John Corby, Pam Corby, Andrei Stanieski, David Bancroft, Michael Aspden, Mary and James Barrons, Vera Aspden, Christine Chester, Derek Taylor Lee, Audrey Lee, Kenneth Kelsey, Donald Kelsey, Janet Kelsey, Derek Kelsey, Ralph and Emma Kelsey, Doreen and Edward Spate.
John Ravenhall, Joyce Boundy, Colin Knott, David White, Paul White, Walter and Olive Holmes, Adrian Ann Bark, Natalie Christina Bark, Margaret Eileen Martin, Albert Henry Martin, Emma Louise Barley, Mark Russell, Doreen Fidling, Nigel Fidling, Daniel Kirk, Vera Kirk, Randolph Cropley, Nellie Cropley, Fred Gravel, Molly Gravel, Alex Gravel, and Fen Holdway Willett. Douglas Holdaway, Betty Holdaway, John Waterfall, Abigail Sutton, Pauline Guttridge, Gemma Louise Weaver, Kimberly Amber Tilbury, Elsie May Crow, Baby Liam Greenfield, Patricia Joyce Butler, Michael Beard, Sylvia Watts, Cyril Watts, Frank Griffin.
Lion and Squadron Leader Bert Cardner, LLB. Amy Beatrice Darby. Karen Freeman. June Ann Hickman. Jim Huntley. Jean Clayton. Tom Gassy Clayton. Tony Monaghan. Jack Gosling. Jill Gosling. Dave Bell, Terence Walters, Peter Walters, Harold Kitson, Kathleen Kitson, Mary Walter, Donald Walter, Iqbal Mal, Maureen Mal, Ken North, Margaret North, Roy North, Jim and Francis Knight, Samuel and Edith Smith, Francis Watkins, Graham Martin, Gordon Spittlehouse, Daphne Spittlehouse, James Bracey, Ian Cuthbert, Eileen MacLeod, Judy Lowe, Valerie Sleeth, Sam Sleeth and Ian Sleeth.
Jane Hitson, Jeff Hitson and Rita Hitson, Alan Reynolds, Michael Burton, David Kirk, Russell Kirk, Albert Espin, Joan Espin, John Espin, Lucy Roberts, John and Pauline Beattie, Gordon Darley, Andy Clayton, Trudy Taylor, Dennis Stedman, Iris Benton, Raymond Bill Woods, David Birchall, Claire Birchall, Fred and Hilda Schofield, James and Nora Birchall, Cyril Skaman, Mark Pochnik, Wenda Jane Hanson, David John Myers, Edgar David Cowan, Oswald Rhodes, Chris Smith, Diane Swift, Alan Liley, Jim and Alma Upsall, Martin Leithley, Edwin and June Maltby, Cecil Henry Maltby, Stephen Van Plu, William Bill Gray, Sheila Gray, Pam and Vic Wilkinson, Graham Paul Cox.
Debbie Ward, Esther Thompson, George Bullen, Anthony Urbanovich, Emily Urbanovich, David McKay, Chris Job, Gerard Mullen, Sydney Danby, Dorothy Danby, Irene Mary Woods, Olive and Jack Holmes, Joy and Edward Lee Gottingham, Peter Dowse, Gladys Martin, Alan Toon, Charles Hall, Joyce Hall, Mavis and Reg Sargent, George Lancaster and Peter Foster. That ends the list of names which we remember this evening. In a short moment of silence, we stand here before this tree and remember those lives and many others the people they were, what they meant to us, and what we did with them.